So what would you do about those outrageous executive salaries? Legislate restrictions?
Well, see, I don't think that's the way to solve the problem. The way you solve the problem of the very high salaries is you got to go back and think about what the social contract is and what the sociology is. Because the same things that made it go up can gradually make it go down. It's like smoking. We didn't pass a law saying you can't smoke, but we use the enormous social pressures, and many fewer people smoke, and those who do, especially in a cold place like Boston, freeze all winter smoking out in the snowdrifts. And I think it's those sociological pressures that are basically going to push it down rather than any legislation, because this is the kind of place where you could pass almost any law you liked, and some smart corporate lawyers would find a way to get around the law, and so you have to persuade the corporations themselves that their long-run self-interest is not putting salaries up to that level, because if they put it up, sooner or later they'll need some political allies. And they won't have political allies if they're doing too much of this. See, an example of the same thing was an article which is in the New York Times a week or two ago about healthcare, where many big companies are putting their employees into managed healthcare where you don't get choices of doctors, you don't get certain treatments. And then for the top 50 executives or some number, they have a special healthcare system, which is kind of like the old-fashioned Blue Cross Blue Shield. Spend any amount of money, pick any doctor, go to any hospital. You're not subject to all these rules and regulations that your other employees are. Now, I think that's a tremendous disaster from the point of view of American corporations, because Americans are almost unique in the sense we're not envious of people who can afford penthouse apartments on Park Avenue. On the other hand, I think we're communists when it comes to health care. I don't want somebody else's kids getting treatments that are life-saving treatments that my kids don't get, right? And I don't care whether he's got more money than I do or not. I still don't want it to happen. And so I think when you start setting up things like two-tiered healthcare systems, and we're not talking the poor now, we're talking the middle class versus the people running the companies, that's something that's explosive once again in the long run.